Hi everyone, it's Chelle from Chelle Crochet. Welcome to my May 2023 Crochet Podcast. Let's talk some whips and some finished objects. It's Chelle. How are you today? I hope you're all doing well. It is Wednesday, May 31st, and it's about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and it is super hot here today. So the AC is probably going to be coming on and off. It is 30 degrees with a humidex, or feels like temperature of 33 Celsius. In Ontario, Canada. I am near Toronto, the Greater Toronto Area of Ontario, Canada, which I forget to say on a regular basis. Anyway, I hope everyone's doing well. Welcome to anybody who's new, and please feel free to connect with me. I love hearing from you in the comments, and it is that time of year where we don't see as many people following crochet as they do in the colder times. So I'm really happy to have those of you who are going to stick around for the summer months. I already noticed more than half drop in terms of viewership from my April podcast to my March podcast. So I'm expecting that to continue in the summer months. It's kind of disappointing, and I know it's also partially my own fault because I'm only here once a month, but I appreciate those of you who make the effort to join me so we can talk about what I've been able to make. And I think we're going to start right off with a clip because it involves several of the larger projects. So here we go. Hey everyone, just a little progress report on my mitered squares that are going to turn into a lap can. So the first one was this red with this little bit of this blue I had left to the navy with the teal. And I'm working on the second. We got the red again to start with the red and this denim-y purpley color, a lighter purple color. It's looking grayish on there. Let's see, the yarn's right here. It's a Patton's yarn. So there's the yarn. And then the purple, which is a very grapey purple from Simply Soft. And I'm just starting to get to that, adding in the teal. So the two colors in common that they have are red and teal. And after this round, so we go 9 rounds in the solid, 8 rounds in the marled, 7 rounds in the solid, and then 6 rounds in the marled. And then of course, except for the red, it's mitered, right? It's not just straight granny. So once I get finished with the teal, I will be adding a antique white color. There she is, a very creamy color. And I'm just gonna go around each square once, then join them together. So at their joining part, they'll have 2, and I'm gonna start working on the sides for width and go from there and see what stripes I come up with. So that is my early May update on my mitered lapgan. Hey everyone, just an update on my current mitered square project. So again, this is working with some Stash Karen Simply Soft and Tencel soft worsted yarns. So you know, the soft slippery type 4-weight yarns acrylic. And the initial thing I did was I made these 2 mitered squares. It's really stretchy because it's held double and it's a 9mm hook. Anyway, she's coming along. So you can see that the initial 2 squares got trimmed in like a antique white color. And now I'm working on the width, I guess you could say, which means I have to work along the blanket long ways. And we have added a couple of rows here with bringing back the navy with the white, and then the purple with the white on this side. And it is this autumn maize colorway in Tencel soft worsted for 4 rows. And then on this side, I'm just starting to bring in the gold with it for another marled section. Hope I'm not making you too dizzy. Anyway, I just thought I'd give you an update. Today is May the 15th. Hey everyone, just another update. After I did that clip, I was really noticing how 4 rows, I think I was doing my 5th row at the time, looked so thin. So I thought for, you know, perspective wise, this square here is 9 rounds. So this is now 9 rows of the solid, and now I'm back into marling. But yeah, I think this will be a nice wider stripe for the side of the blanket than I was doing. And while I have you here, there's a couple other things going on. I am actually making progress with my squares for Donna at SunshineLeclare's make-along for the Granny Square bag. Took some inspiration from Pricilla at Ricola's Crochet Corner, who was using, I think, acrylic yarn, but she had these cool squares going with black and colors. So I'm getting there, kind of in stages. And I have one more thing to show you. So as you know, this whole mitered square thing started with Jayda doing a live tutorial for a throw. And so I had made the baby blanket first, and now I'm working on this one. But now she's doing one for a market bag. So I am just working on the bottom still, and this is her stacked shell market bag, and you know, the bottom is just made with half double crochets. So you can see that's the inside there. Okay, so I just wanted to show you the yarns as well. It's easier to show you the yarns in my yarn bowl than one at a time on the project. So here's the black. That is the willow cotton from Hirschner's. This is some weird thin ice yarn, and it's very shiny on the outside. It's like they have a very thin thread. It's not like they have a very thin thread. They do have a thread like thinner than sewing thread wrapped all the way around some other black. And it frays a little bit when it's cut, that's how I know. And then I have 2 strands of Lion Brand Summer Nights wound up together. That's very similar to the cotton I want to use up with the black, which is this one here. So once I get finished with the bottom, I will switch that one in for the build of the shells up the side of the bag, and then I'll come back to what I got going on here for the top and the straps. Anyway, that is the update for, I think today is somewhere around the 18th of May. Hey everyone, just another update. So what I had done was I pulled back some of what you saw last time, and I made that neutral color is called Autumn Maze, rows 9 rows on each side there. And then I had enough left to get it marled with the denim purple color for 5 rows. So she's starting to look much more like a blanket now. And I guess the final view of this will be in the actual podcast at the end of the month. Hey everyone, so here is my completed 2 miter square throw. So I used the mitered squares to get me some length. Just wanted to make 2 of them. And then I added on with a bunch of colors to make it wider. And this is all soft worsted yarn that I've been going through this year. This is lying on my king size bed, so it'd probably be maybe a nice size for a double bed and an extra nice size for a twin. So yeah, I'm happy with how it turned out. We will talk more about it now. Back to our regularly scheduled programming. All right, so right off the bat, I have the mitered granny blanket here beside me. You've seen plenty of it. I'll actually pop up a picture too while we're talking about it. So just a refresh from the beginning, Jayda had done, so when I say Jayda, I think most of you already know Jayda and Stitches is who I'm talking about. I watch a lot of her videos and participate in a lot of her tutorials, and lately it's been live tutorials. So I had started another mitered project after this baby blanket that I made. I'll pop up a picture here last time. And initially I wasn't sure what I was going to do. I thought I was just going to make grannies, but then I thought, oh, this will be a cool idea. And end result is okay for me. I'm fairly happy with it. It depends. Like when I was just editing that clip earlier today, when I saw it lying on the bed, I was really happy with it. But at certain times, I'm not so happy with it. And again, I have to remind myself that I'm using stash yarn. So I didn't have every color under the sun to choose from here. I only had the colors that were available in this type of yarn. And for this type of yarn, I'm talking about soft worsted yarn, the slippery stuff, the thinner stuff, the stuff that is not regular worsted yarns like Craft Smart or Bernat Premium or Red Heart Super Saver or you name it, all the ones we don't get here in Canada. But these are Cairn Simply Soft or Bernat Satin, and I don't know if there's other ones in there probably is in the Hobby Lobby and stuff, but I don't know what those ones are. The majority of my collection has come from Yarnspirations or Spin Right directly, and Spin Right does it under the Tent Sale umbrella. So they are packaging either Bernat Satin, or even sometimes I think they're sticking the Caron Simply Soft in that soft worsted category as well. So anyway, that's what I was able to make, and I'll also talk a little bit about a whip I have going on with the actual remnants of that project. But I did talk about a market bag in that clip because I was giving you a couple updates at the same time. A couple of market bags. Actually, before this falls over, let's talk about these. So Krista from The Secret Yarnery has been making flowers, and this is a work in progress. I am not finished with this yet, but I've been trying to. And so I got some cool baskets on clearance at Michael's, and then I got some of that foam stuff. I had the skewers already. I've got a bunch more here that are ready to go, and I just painted them. I was just lucky I had green spray paint, so I just painted mine, and they're all different. I was trying to purposely not be too particular about how well they got coated. They look so cool on camera. I wish they looked that green in person. They're not quite that green. And I did the button thing. And I'm happy, but I'm not thrilled. So I'm making some more. I don't think I chose necessarily the right colors for my palette, if you will, but I'm gonna have these as window boxes. We have two long windows that I'm staring at right now, and there's a windowsill in each, so this will give it some height and be able to sit there. I have made projects that sit in the sun before. I had made a wall hanging for outdoors, and it really did fade over the course of the summer. So anyway, I'm interested to see how these will go, and this will kind of be a when I feel like it project. Right now I'm adapting a sunflower to look the way I want it to look, similar to these ones. And yeah, we'll go from there. I'll probably add some things like daisies and all different ones to it. I've got at least this many more to do, which is more than are in the basket currently. But yeah, this has been a fun project so far. And if you want any more information about it, just check out Krista's video. It'll be linked in the description box below. Now let me see if I can get it to balance without falling over. All right, so back to that clip where we were talking about Donna's make-along. Donna from SunshineLeclare suggested we do a bag make-along, and I finally got my act together and got it finished, and I'm so happy with how it turned out. Let's pop up the pictures first. So here's side one, and then here's side two. A couple of quick pictures for you there. One side of the bag and the other side of the bag, and I have it here in person as well. But I did end up having quite a bit of fun with this once I got my act together, and first time making any sort of solid granny square. For whatever reason, I still struggled to do the one, the regular square shaped one. I feel like it was getting way too gappy, and Donna said that this should be a nice closed square. So I opted for the polka dots, and here we go. So I decided to put my straps on here at the top, and I just did a couple rows of I cheated. I held the yarn double here to make it thicker, and I just did a chain with a row of single crochets going back for both of them. And also what I like about it is I made it long enough on purpose, and it's a bit stretchy because it's held double with a bigger hook. If you want it shorter, you just can put a knot right here at the end and then have it shorter if you like. So I was thinking of this bag more as a project bag than a purse, but I suppose it could be either. And I've been showing you this side, and then there's this side, and then the bottom and how it kind of fans out for the polka dots that way. So this was hilarious when I was putting it together because I was just staring at the picture that she had, and I should have probably paid a little more attention to the actual instruction she gave, but I had the picture in front of me and I started sewing it. And initially my goal was to put the red one on the bottom, but I had sewn them together in such a way that I had to call my husband over and say, it's math, I need help with math. I can't see where they belong to make them go without having to take any apart. So anyway, he helped me, and the end result is great. I love it. Can't go wrong with how that looks with black, right? So if you want any more information on this, I think Donna's done 3 videos, and they'll be linked in the description box below. And then another live crochet along Jayda had been doing was with her stacked shell market bag. So you saw a little clip at the bottom, and this is how it turned out. It's so super busy. So I have a couple of close-up shots for you to see actually how it looks in person. There's enough of a distinction between the bottom and the pattern, but I wish that there had been more. It might have been a nicer idea to have just done the solid black bottom, or even just the solid black with that weird gray yarn from Ice Yarns. But I could have skipped the sparkle of the Line Brand Summer Nights, but I wanted the sparkle, right? So anyway, And overall, I love it. I still love it. So I stuck just a black button and button holder on there. And then I have this strap that I use on multiple bags, and I'm going to show you later another one I have. So it can really clip on anywhere, and so it's crossbody, and I like it for that, the ease of it. And you know, sometimes you don't want to use yarn up on a strap. In this case, I would have probably had enough to do it no problem. But another thing I like to do when I have a crossbody bag is I like to build in a handle so I can just grab it. And for this one, I just did it on the inside. So there's just two little straps on the inside that I can grab if I just want to grab the purse like that. So, and I just used that little bit of that yarn by itself for that part. So I kept it nice and tight so that that would work. And then I attached the chain right on the inside there, and it comes across, and I made it tight enough to make sure it's not going to pop off the button. If I can get my hands to work. And there she goes. Anyway, I had fun doing it. I have made these before. I think this is probably my third or fourth of this pattern since last summer. But yeah, this is a really pretty bag, and I'm sure someone will love to have it, unless I just keep it myself. If someone does want it, I'm gonna have to take the strap off because I want to keep this strap. And let me show you the other bag I've been using it on. I used this as my purse, not last winter, so not winter of 22-23, maybe winter of 21-22. And this came from scraps from a granny square cardigan I had made for my friend. And it is this kind of a bag. So it's one big square at the bottom. This one also has a button on the front here. It is one big square at the bottom. And then you have this two similar size squares for the sides. And then I had all these little guys. And the inspiration for the little guys just came from the fact that that was all the yarn I had left. But when I pulled this back out, I was super stoked about this bag, and now I want to make one in cotton for summer. So it won't be as stretchy, and so I can use it in summer. So we'll have to see, because I'm not going to end up keeping, and if I make another one, I'm not going to keep the granny square bag and that bag I just showed you. So we will have to see. One other thing I wanted to mention about this is that not only do I just use the strap, the leather strap on this, but I also just use purse organizers for it. So I have a couple of different versions both of which I found on Amazon. One is more of a thick felt type material with all these different pockets, and one is more of a just polyestery meshy zippers here and there, and they're very different sizes, but it helps you not have to worry about the fact that these are not very solid on the inside unless you line them. And I do think I would like to take the time to line this at some point because I like this bag a lot, but I haven't got there yet. And in the meantime, that was a good sort of saving for not having to line a bag if you like making your bags with acrylic rather than cotton. So we'll see the difference if I get around to making a granny square one in this version this coming month in June, how sturdy it is without it being acrylic. So I adjusted the camera so we could talk about the poncho. I will have a little clip of it for you where I'm modeling it, probably at the end of the video. But this poncho pattern is just a regular granny stitch poncho where I'm just modifying the points so that the arms can come down a little bit further before you're getting too long in the point there. It does decrease how quickly it grows this way, and I'll talk about it in a sec. And basically the overall pattern, though, or how I learned to make these granny stitch ponchos, are from the Crochet Crowd. First of all, I ombre'd this myself. So this is also Care and Simply Soft. It was Care and Simply Soft, and then the aqua, the middle color, is the Tencel soft worsted. And it is a light aqua, a medium teal, and a dark teal. And the dark teal and the aqua actually came from Care and Simply Soft and an Ogos that I found on clearance. And then the medium teal there is the rest of the Tencel soft worsted that I had already in a couple of projects already. So I wanted to do this ombre because I had the idea of using the yarns for this when I got the Ogos. And I wanted to get this done first before I knew how much I had left over to continue with another project I had on the go. So the pattern again is Crochet Crowd and it's linked below, but here's what I did differently. So when I started this off, I did the first 5 rows normally with regular point increases. Then when I get to the medium teal, I started to modify it so that instead of putting 3 double crochets, chain 2, 3 double crochet in the point, I did a row that was 2 double crochets, chain 2, 2 double crochets, and then a row that is 1 with a chain 2 so that I could skip it over it the next time. So the next time when I came back and I was ready to do 3 again, I skipped over one of the chain spaces because they're fairly close together when you do it that way. And yeah, so I was working it out in this section, and then I kind of got to a pattern that I liked. And basically that pattern was 2 regular increases, then down to 2 double crochets, then down to 1 double crochet, and then the one where you skip over is the one where you go back to 3 double crochets. So if you want any more information about that, or you're not understanding, because I know it's not easy to explain, please feel free to let me know. You can email me, or you can leave me a comment, and I'll try to help you out and explain it further if you like the idea of this, because I've had comments before that when I've been sharing that my quest to have these not get so long in the front before they get long on the sides without having to do a 4-point poncho. People have been interested in that, so please let me know. So this whole thing was done with a 6.5 millimeter hook, and we talked about the yarns. So let me know if you have any other questions, and I will readjust the camera back for you now. Okay, let's talk about the last soft worsted project. And first, there is a clip here.
Hey everyone, just a little update here on this scrap project I currently have on my hook, literally. It's a C2C, hopefully a rectangular wrap if I end up having enough yarn. And anyway, what I wanted to say was I've been, using these quote unquote soft worsted yarns since doing the rainbow blanket earlier this year, trying to go through my stash of what is or was Caron Simply Soft and Tencel Soft Worsted. And there were a couple One Skein Wonders I had in there that seemed nice and thin that I put there as well. After working with these as long as I have, or as much as I have recently, I just want to say that the Tencel Soft Worsted is just a nicer yarn than the Caron Simply Soft. It's a little more plump, and it's just a little nicer. Now, they still do go together interchangeably, and there's no way to know 100%, but generally the Tencel Soft Worsted yarn from Spinrite is Bernat Satin. So here we go. Let's have a look here. The yellow and the teal nice and close up. There's just not much at all to the Simply Soft, especially when you go to work with it. This one, at least there's a little something going on. Anyway, the whole point was just to get these out of my stash anyway, so it's not like I'm going to be getting them again, but I just find it interesting after as much as I've worked with it, that they're not as close as I thought. This one is, the Simply Soft is even a light worsted. Okay, back to our regularly scheduled programming. It's the 26th of May today, so I'm not so sure how much this guy's going to get to grow before I do my video. We will see, right?
Okay, so a C2C. I hope it's going to be a C2C rectangular wrap. And here we are. Loving the colors. So the very bottom corner literally used up the rest of the blue. That blue was in the mitered blanket. It was marled with the red and a tiny little bit of lime. And after that, I decided to start color controlling so that I get at least an even row, because I have more of the yarns left. I've started to decrease on the one side so that it is rectangular, and yeah, it will go on camera. So that's the width I'm going for, which basically I just kind of laid it over my shoulder and thought if it hits my shoulder blade in the back, then it's good width for a wrap, because I want it to feel like an actual rectangular wrap, right? I found that when I was making the, what was that one called? Everyone was making it and it was diagonal. Just Feel Festive shawls, that I made them too narrow. I should have made them a lot wider than I did. And I think that had to do with translating the fact that she was using different yarn weights than I was using. So I should have made it a lot wider than I did. Anyway, they make great scarves the way they are, but I wanted this one to be a wrap, and it's gonna be super warm. This is the 6.5 millimeter hook as well, and it's plenty dense, even though it's the soft worsted yarns. I could even gone to 7 with this. But anyway, here's the straight edge. So just started 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And then we're still growing over here. And I have lots of certain colors and little of others. So the littles are going to be kept to the very, very end. This is what I had done. I'll pop up a picture here so you can see it better because I've already kind of destroyed it a bit. But I had made myself a huge scrap cake of, these were together. This one was inside this one, of the soft worsted yarns to get them used up. But then when I decided what kind of project I was doing, I was able to sort of pull out the ones I have more of. This one needs to get wound up. And I have a whole bunch of different scraps in there. I'll need to go through all that with you. But to say that color-wise, I wanted to get as many colors in there as possible because it looks cool for scrappy projects that way. I have a few colors I'll be able to repeat, like the red and the brown and the black, the yellow. And there is a neutral I can pull in that will give me extra that I only have 2 skeins of. So it's just about going through that yarn and getting through that yarn this year, and it's cool. And it will be cozy when it's made. So if you have any questions, let me know. There is a C2C tutorial linked in the description box. In my Stitch Fest bag. Okay, another little whip, and this one is a question because I don't know if I want to keep going or not. So it's probably a combination of a couple of things. I was trying to do a rectangular mesh shawl, and I don't know if I did show this at all last time because I had very little of it started in April. But here she is, and I mean, if I block her out, which this wouldn't be too hard to block because you can pretty much just put 2 corners and pull it longwise to let it block, but like the 4 corners, sorry. But anyway, I'm not so sure. There is another stitch pattern that I've been dying to try for a wrap that I might change this to. I'm not even at halfway. I'm maybe a third into that ball, and I have 2 balls of this Nordica that I got from Pricilla in our swap. Hi Pricilla. And I want to use them together, and I want to make some kind of a shawl wrap pattern, and I really did not want to do a triangle. So we'll see. I may just have to take this for what it was in terms of the mindless aspects of sitting with it when I did get to sit with it. The pattern's really cool, how you're actually able to see the different aspects of the yarn. So we'll see. We'll see what happens with this one. She's probably gonna be completely different the next time you see her. She's probably getting frogged. Anyway, it happens, right? This one you won't really be able to see, but there are 2 of them. The other one is a little bit bigger. It is just a little tiny jewelry holder. That's what I'm using it for, out of black cotton yarn, just with a small hook, probably a 4mm hook, that same willow cotton, and you know, the standard make a circle and then stop increasing and keep going up. I didn't even put a ridge bottom or anything on it. It's made in the spiral. And what I did do at the very top is I just slip stitched around it this time because it does really tighten it up. So it's not going to just expand over time when you pull on it. And I wanted to hold stuff in it, right? So that it doesn't go missing on me and I can keep them handy wherever I need them. I like to be able to grab stuff in a hurry and just put it on and leave. So that's what I'm using it for, collecting my rings and my bracelets and stuff like that. So there's 2, one's a little bit bigger. Just a little scrap project to pass some time. Just trying to think if there's anything I'm forgetting. I am forgetting, right behind me. So we had the Lovey made last time, but we did not have any animals to put in it, and there are animals now. I'll probably just show them to you as they get a Lovey, but I did get a few of this unicorny type guy, and this one has the most yellow and pink on him, so I put the Lovey I made last time on him. Let me show you him without the Lovey on first. Isn't he cute? Isn't he adorable? So this guy has the most pink and yellow, so he got the existing Lovey. Just stick him back on here. And I was having a hard time finding some stuffed animals that would work for this. The dollar store had nothing, but I found a couple on sale at Walmart, so I just grabbed a bunch so that I had them for when I needed them. And there's a few that kind of look like him. And then the other one I've done so far is a little bit more boyish. And so he's smaller. So okay, I'll show you the Lovey first because you haven't seen this Lovey yet. So I just based this is scrap yarn, and I just based the colors off of, he's got a little bit of a green and brown going on in his outfit. But I found a few of these. I don't have kids, so I haven't heard about this I don't know if that's a new thing, but there's a bunch of them. It kind of reminded me of Paw Patrol. I do have a niece. So anyway, here he is. He's smaller, his body's smaller, but his head's the right size, right? So these guys were on sale. So I got some of them because they seemed more boyish. And yeah, so I'll make probably a Lovey or so a month until I have everybody covered. And I think I have 6-ish I got of these. So 6 or 7 I think I got. So we'll make some more because I have a lot of baby blankets, but I didn't have any Loveys, so we'll see. Hubby and I are thinking of trying to be brave enough to do like a craft fair in the fall, so we'll see if that actually happens or not. But I don't mind having the stuff in the Make Ahead stash anyway. Oh, and the Lovey tutorial is Zelda NRJ3 and is linked in the description box below. Okay, so last but not least, temperature blanket update. I do have a small clip. I'll throw that in at the very end because we're almost at the very end so you can see it better. And also the small clip has me twirling in my top that I'm wearing now so you can see it a little bit better. I made it last year. Okay, so we are in the very end of May today, and this one is from March. So March, April, and then May, where you see the 4 rows of white is the divider, and then basically every week got a divider row, and I'm doing 4 rows per week, 5 rows per month. If the month didn't have 5 days in it or 5 Wednesdays in it, I just made it up. This one does, so we've only got the cold temperatures from overnight on this so far, and I will do the hot ones later, which we know are 30 and 33. And yeah, pulling in some colors that hadn't made it in the blanket yet. Still doing really well with my ends. I was actually sewing in ends last night, so that I only have a few of the most recent ones, but I love how these colors are working up. And what I was thinking about when I was seeing them month over month, we can't really use the bottom one because it's got a different yarn in it, but let's just look at these individual rows of 4. Don't they look like they'd be nice colorways? They weren't the colorways as they existed in the cakes because, as you know, I cherry picked them all out, but they would be nicer if they were together. Anyway, is what it is, right? That's why it would be nice to have a lot of solids in the Karen and cotton cakes, because then you can make up your own colors. Okay. Oh, and by the way, did you guys see that app Mikey was talking about? It looks very cool. If you didn't see the app he was talking about, Mikey from the Crochet Crowd, go check it out. It was yesterday. Okay, so I think that brings us to the end, friends. May is just a blur at this point. So I feel like, you know, I guess the blanket took quite a bit of time, but I don't know, doesn't feel like I got the most done. Anyway, no more blankets. I am going to only be doing motifs. That's what I'm going to be concentrating on. So when it does come to the colder weather in September and October, I will have enough of a few things to put together, bringing back the Mala minute strips that I've been working on, and I will be working on my corner to corner blocks, which I haven't worked on at all, except for I think January or February I did one. Those will get going. And then in terms of grannies, I was thinking of doing double-stranded skinny cake grannies, but I think I might make a bunch of hexagon grannies and see how I like those and see what I might be able to put together with it. So lots of scrap projects, lots of motifs. There's one shawl that I'm thinking of pulling back out, a wrap. It can be pulled out any of the summer months because it's thin weight yarn. And then the one that I have to decide about whether I'm going to continue or just start over, probably start over. That's what I'm leaning to. And I think that's about it for right now. I have some pictures celebrating wearing crochet. I was wearing these different crochet things all in the month of May. And I have a picture that my hubby made me. My favorite spring summer pastime is Toronto Blue Jays baseball. And he made something for me out of his perler beads. So I'll share that at the end as well. And I think that's it, guys. I hope you're all doing well. Thanks for spending this time with me. Have a great day and happy crochet. Bye. Hi everyone. Just showing you the top I'm wearing in today's video. I made this last year and I'll link the video that I talked about it in the description box. Little spin, solid ball, nice and light. It's hot today. So I'm just gonna throw in these little clips wherever. It'll be a surprise to both of us. And I'm gonna show you 2 other things while we're here. So here is the temperature blanket so far. The bottom being March, the top being now. I have to do today's high temperatures, but I did the lows because I got those done already. And it's super hot today. It's gonna be 30, feels like 33 Celsius. And one other thing, but I gotta change first. Ta-da! This is not made for me. This is probably best for up to maybe a 2X. But I thought you would still get a better look at it if I just put it on for you. And we'll talk more about it in the video.